I rise in support of this bill. It prohibits critical theory infused training. That's the divisive concepts listed in this bill. It prohibits it in our regents and K through 12 schools, but it doesn't touch the traditional training that teaches respect for all, no matter their race or sex. Schools will still be able to use that training that teaches respect for students and faculty's First Amendment rights of free speech and intellectual expression, as has been traditionally done. This is basic to freedom and what we as Americans have long valued. Discussion of critical theory is still allowed in the classroom under this bill, but teaching, training, advocating, and promoting using critical theory or the divisive concepts defined in this bill is not allowed. Critical theory is simply Marxism that has been updated for the modern day. It is Marxism 2.0. What we are prohibiting is simply Marxism 2.0 training in our schools. Traditionally, Marxism is an economic and political ideology based on class warfare. People were separated into the wealthy class, which is the oppressor, and the working class, which is the oppressed. Under Marxism, the working class, or the oppressed, rises up and defeats and destroys the wealthy class, the oppressor, by violent means, if necessary. Marxism has religious overtones, being atheistic in nature and opposed to Christianity. It is directly opposed to capitalism and the free market. Marxism is updated by adopting critical theory into its model. Marxism remains an economic and political ideology, but now the 2.0 version is based on race warfare. People are separated by race into the white class, which is the oppressor, and black or brown, or the current term people of color, which are the oppressed.
State your point.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This bill is not about Marxism, and we're having a long tirade about Marxism here.
The House will be in order. Representative Salmon, you have 7 minutes left. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Speaker.
State your point.
The chair didn't give its ruling from the point of order from Representative Bennett.
The floor is Representative Salmon.
Okay.
The point of order is not well taken. The floor is to Representative Salmon.
Oops. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, as I was trying to say, was saying that Marxism is being updated by adopting critical theory, which are the divisive concepts in this bill, into its model. Under this updated Marxism, the oppressed are to rise up and defeat and destroy the white class, which is the oppressor. So it is very much the same thing. It's just an updated form of Marxism, these divisive concepts that are in the bill. And these ideas are what we are prohibiting in training in our schools. I don't believe Iowans want this kind of training in our schools. They don't believe that an individual, by virtue of his race or sex, is inherently or systematically racist, sexist, or oppressive. Iowans don't believe that an individual should be discriminated against or receive adverse treatment because of their race or sex. Iowans don't believe that America or the state of Iowa are fundamentally racist or sexist. And that's what the divisive concepts say, and that's what we are prohibiting. This kind of training is divisive and agitating and is actually discriminatory and racist and sexist in nature. It provokes hostility and aggression. It actually results in violence and warfare. Marxism has always done that in its history, and this version of it will not have different results. It has done and will do the same. We have seen it at work in the riots in our cities last summer. We need to face the fact that adherents to critical theory or Marxism 2.0 have abandoned freedom as a strongly held value. Marxism, or these divisive concepts, have been and never will be about freedom. It is about imposing a critical theory, divisive concepts, ideology on others. And that's what we are seeing in our Regents universities, and it's growing in our K through 12 schools. That is not education, but indoctrination. We need unity around common principles and ideals. This Marxism or critical theory will not achieve that. Our nation was not founded on Marxism or critical theory. For unity, we need to return...
Representative Salmons, state your point.
Mr. Speaker, we had a conversation in the well about the representative bringing her comments back to the bill that has not been done yet, and your ruling was that our point of order is not well taken, so I'm confused about how this is allowed to continue.
Representative Smith, Representative Salmon, please approach the well. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Floyd, Representative Pritchard.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Democrats will caucus at the Ola Babcock building immediately. Thank you.
With the Democrats going to caucus.